Welcome to the Nest Show, the podcast that brings you insights into the crypto market, trading and investment experiences, and what we're looking forward to as we navigate the space together. Before we get started with the show, I want to thank our friends and sponsors over at Prime XBT, where many of our listeners have already signed up to trade by visiting the birbnest.com/PrimeXBT. Prime XBT is the most powerful trading platform offering immediate access to over 30 assets. Users may trade cryptocurrencies, Forex, commodities, stock indices, and much more, all from a single Bitcoin-settled account. And now for the show. What the Nest Show is. This is a podcast brought to you by the Birb Nest community, an independent crypto and Forex-centered trading community built to sharpen each other in capturing opportunities in the markets while protecting capital along the way. What this is not. Trading advice. We are not financial advisors, and you should not regard any information here or in the Nest Club as financial advice. You should always consult a licensed financial advisor before making any financial decisions.
Hey everybody, it's Adrian Crypto Birb here, and welcome to today's episode of the Nest Show podcast. After quite some break that we actually had, it's a bull market. It's a bull market, and things are going fast. Things are rushed. For many projects, for many companies, for myself, it's very hard to actually keep up with the market. But today we are having a very, very special guest, my dear friend, Ian Friend, which is perfectly known as the leading person for Ferrum Network. Welcome to today's episode of the Nest Show podcast, Ian. How are you doing?
Doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Awesome. Like always, for those who actually missed out on our previous episode, the podcast of the Nest Show podcast, make sure to subscribe to our channel, to follow that that YouTube profile. This is actually all free, and it's going to get you pretty good insights, in my opinion. But what you may guys know, I had already been here. Adam was already been here the other day. It was actually May 2020 when I last checked. We were talking about Ferrum Network back then, directly and indirectly, because actually, Ben was also the great podcast host back then. But I'm dying to know pretty much like what's new since then. What's new since May 2020? Like what's changed for you for Ferrum Network?
Wow, so much. Yeah, I remember when I came on your guys' show last, we were talking about a product we had just launched, which is Unifier wallet and the technology in that called link drops, allows you to send crypto anywhere using a link. That's what we were promoting at that time. And things have progressed tremendously since then. So since that time, we've launched two other core lines of the Ferrum Network ecosystem. The first being our staking technology and staking as a service, the business. This is technology we built initially for the Ferrum token, but due to, I think, its value to other new projects, we've been able to sell it to over 50 different crypto projects that are now utilizing the Ferrum Network staking technology. There's over 20 million total locked value across our staking protocol now amongst all these projects, and we're signing up still to 1 to 2 a week. So it's been a tremendous success for us. The second thing that's been a big hit, not just from a business standpoint, from a token utility and a community standpoint, is our incubator and our advisory services. So we have basically leveraged the 2.5, 3 years we've been in this space, making connections, understanding the market, understanding how to build a community, understanding how to launch useful technology, scale products, and basically applying that to other new projects who are looking to enter the market at this time. So we helped incubate a project called Bondly, which has done very, very well. Another project we just did called Pools, also done well, even better, 20x.
I know both of them. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. So it's good to see the names sort of making their way around the crypto space. But between the staking as a business or as a service business and the incubator and advisory arm, Ferrum has done very, very well in this bull market, and we're happy with where we're at, but still a long way to go.
I love it, and FRM for your talking, I think it reflects well reflects well really all of these sort of like fundamental improvement that you guys have actually done, within the past couple of months. And while 2020, I think it was heavily difficult, for all the, let's say, stationary businesses, logistics, transportation, anything pretty much, long story short, that is not e-commerce related, or sort of like digital online, right? A lot of businesses collapsed. They got pretty much hurt bad time and big time. Well, it's actually insane to watch how like how much Ferrum Network has grown so far. And this was mainly focused on 2020 because we just barely launched 2021, which hopefully is going to be much better for everybody. But this just shows, on how insanely big potential you guys pretty much like accumulated inside your team, right? And it just shows. And like for the disbelievers, you can just look up the chart, right? And you would see like some 10x growths, going all over the platform within the past couple of weeks or months. So it's pretty insane. It's pretty insane. So definitely congratulations on that. And I think that from what we know, from the investing point of view, from the investor's point of view, and from the fundamental point of view, because I am lucky enough to sort of like just run my own successful business, and I have this perspective sort of like dually. I'm both an investor and the service provider, right? So I have this sort of like full scope of how the market looks from both ends. And what I know for sure is that there's been insane interest in the DeFi scene, right? The centralized finance is actually soaring right now as we speak. You would see a lot of new financial services popping out left and right. The project's pretty much like racing for who delivers higher quality services, right? And so on and so forth. So it is out of question that DeFi is actually hot right now. It's sexy, right? So my sort of like just question that I want to ask you, Ian, is what do you think currently the biggest challenges and solutions in the DeFi scene are?
Yeah, I think you make a great point in that DeFi has tremendous potential. It's very attractive to people within the crypto community for obvious reasons, right? You can get these yields that are just unheard of in sort of the traditional financial sector. The challenge that I'm seeing, is a project that is really trying to bring about mass adoption of cryptocurrencies, is how do we simplify DeFi? How do we solve some of these challenges around gas fees and complexities around,
please. We need to fix that.
Yeah, self-custodial wallets, is a challenge for anyone who's not deeply entrenched in the space. So how do you solve those those preconditions to even getting into DeFi? Like you have to have a pretty advanced knowledge of cryptocurrencies even to start seeing the benefits of these new technologies. So how do we solve that? I think that's got to be one of the core questions and the core focuses of crypto going forward. I know Ethereum 2.0 is coming. I think that's going to help a lot with things like gas fees and slow speeds that I think are really. It's probably going to get worse before it gets better as Ethereum appreciates in value. To do a simple interaction with a smart contract can cost $60, $100. You're going to pretty much alienate the vast majority of crypto people, and then other people who may be interested but can't get in. So how do we solve that? And then also just the simplicity of the products, right? How do we make products that everyday people who are not deep into crypto can use and appreciate? And that's something we're focused on at Ferrum. And I know there's a lot of other great companies doing similar things, but it's early days for crypto anyway, no matter what. So we got a long way to go, but I think it's only up from here.
Only up, yeah. This is the new principle, right, that we keep hearing every day on Twitter. Yeah, but I think you touched upon the very, very important aspect, and in here that while we are building as the community, you are building, as the service provider as well as Ferrum Network. It's very important to actually simplify that, just like you said, but not just because of the simplification itself, but because this is actually the vehicle that gets us broader, that gets us worldwide, that gets us actually properly adopted, right? Because the actual sort of like technology is as well adopted as the less least tech savvy people can actually get it. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't be pretty much like just as open as I would love to tell my parents to go to Uniswap and just get connect their MetaMask and they just do stuff, and then they can connect with smart contracts and be it on BSC, just blockchain network or Ethereum, whatever, because they would go crazy over the time and not just for all these strange expressions. So we are definitely not there yet regarding the sort of like simplicity that we are striving for, right? Would you agree?
Oh, I completely agree. So I actually have the privilege and opportunity to work with a lot of, frankly, these are my close friends who invested in Ferrum because they believe in me. They see, they see the progress we made. They like what they see, but they don't know much, if at all, about crypto. So I have to walk them through every little thing, setting up a MetaMask, right? Even how to buy Ethereum on Coinbase is like a struggle for a lot of new people. And then so yeah, how do we expect people to figure out Uniswap and then these yield farming platforms? I mean, it gets more and more advanced from there. So I think we still have a long way to go in terms of mass adoption. But it's just look, it's going to take time. This is technology that uh, you can simplify it, but there's still going to be a learning curve no matter what. So I think look, these things are going to just take time. We'll keep pushing forward as an industry, and in 5 years from now, I think it's going to look very different.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're evolving, and bull market definitely helps. It's full of money. It's equipped with money. It's equipped with buyers, and the positivity across the board. So it's definitely bullish, for projects and actually those only who survive the bear markets. This is how the companies, the projects are perfectly well fitted, right? And I definitely want to sort of like just express uh, to all the viewers and to all the listeners for how important it is always to understand the big concept, the big time frame, the big time horizon, because you would see a lot of shakeouts, you would see a lot of bit, just like right now we are watching the Bitcoin correction, just going right. You would see extreme volatility from the past couple of weeks, uh, and this all kind of like makes us as traders, from the trading point of view, just get too narrow-minded, get too focused on the short-term time frames, so that we often forget about the big picture. And you would see many traders pretty much like just saying, okay, bull market is done, right? Because we dropped like 10,000 or something. We are done. Like, this is time, time to get out, right? And this is exactly what makes the same people later for moving higher, just because they see it's actually marking, continues to rally. And I know, this might be, my maybe kind of like, just a question that you may want to tweak somehow, but what are your personal thoughts on the market?
Yeah, you bring up the correction we've seen over the past day or two. I think we're still in a bullish. We're still in a bull market here. And why do I think that? Well, look at who's been driving this bull market from really day one. It hasn't been the retail investors, who you pointed out earlier have been hit hard by COVID and the financial fallout from that, which is obviously tragic. It's been driven by institutional investors and funds and guys with big money. And typically, those kind of investors they're professional investors. They have patience. And the reality is, this bull market only started 4 or 5 months ago, really, in earnest. If you look at like who are some of the drivers of it, MicroStrategies, PayPal, Square. Do you think that they think this is over? Do you think that they think that the bull market's over and they're oh, we invested for 6 months, we're selling now? No, these guys are in for years. These guys are in for years. So I think this thing has legs. I'm still extremely bullish, but I am very thankful that Ferrum was founded in the bear market, the real bear market of 2018, when it was really hard to do anything. And that taught us a lot of lessons on how to be frugal, how to be a smart business, how to focus on revenue generating products. So we've taken those lessons and now applied them to the bull market, and it's made us even stronger, I think. And you look at, the staking as a service business or the incubator as an example that. So I'm, from my standpoint, I'm thankful for our journey. But yeah, no, this bull market's we still got legs on this one. I'm not too worried about this little correction we're seeing today.
Yeah, exactly. Couldn't agree more. And this also, like, this type of questions, regarding the markets are always, first of all, are always to some extent subjective, right? But what's definitely unconditionally sort of like, just uh, objective and non-subjective is that the bull market is still on. Just, for those, again, who disbelieve, just look at the averages, right? The average prices for Bitcoin across the board, especially the higher time frames, they keep soaring, right? This is, so anything that just happens, well, from the technical point of view, this is called like secondary corrections, secondary trends, right? Which are sort of like going opposite to the main trend direction, to the primary trend, which is the bull market, clearly. And I think you, from commenting from a tiny bit more, technical side, there's been small, like surprisingly small volume, little volume, to be honest. When 2017 was actually going into full mode, you would see the volume pretty much like, just following the same direction that a trend, which means that this is sort of like basic basic principle of Dow theory, for the markets, that the volume must align with the trend. So which means that the fatter the trend goes, the deeper it sort of goes, the volume needs to follow that, right? And what we have seen so far in Bitcoin is the actual rally since $10,000 has been happening on the declining volume, which tells me that there is not so much interest just yet when compared to what we saw in 2017, which again, suggests that if we have seen so insane rallies like 300, 400% rallies on Bitcoin and so on in the past months, and it's not really filled with retails just yet, then what does it mean, right? Where does it take us, right? So that's pretty bullish, right? If the market alone is able to sustain such big, just pumps without retails in kind of like just involved. So this phase is yet to come. We are definitely not at the levels that just the Google trends were showing back in 2017. So this is yet to come. So it's definitely more bullish than not. And regarding and speaking of bullishness, I wanted to very quickly touch upon this very intriguing name and very intriguing project that you guys introduced in Ferrum, which is the Operation Iron Mountain. I'd love you, Ian, to comment on this perfect this perfect operation name. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, that was the code name we were using to discuss it internally before we unveiled it to the world. We didn't want people, you use code names when you don't want people to find out. We thought, why not use it to describe the initiative itself when we go public with it? So what is Operation Iron Mountain? It's a combination of three major events. Culmination of which is a listing on a new tier 1 exchange, which I can finally reveal now because we've announced it, which is KuCoin.
Yeah,
very happy.
Congratulations to that. Well done.
Thank you. We're happy. We're really happy to be listed there. I think it's important in this market, especially, to have a strong centralized exchange listing with real organic volumes and a lot of actual users. In part because of the discussion we had earlier about the Uniswap and the gas fees. When gas fees are $30 right now, it's insane. I think it's probably $60 even right now to trade on.
Yeah, I saw pretty much 100 and plus. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like, average people, non-whales, cannot trade on Uniswap in these conditions, and they shouldn't, because why would you if you need to trade $500 worth and you're spending $100 on fees, just don't even bother. So we needed to find a solution to this problem. We listed on a few other sexes. BitMax was one of them. We wanted a bigger one, and KuCoin opportunity came along, and we're happy to list on it. But Operation Iron Mountain is not just a listing. To me, that a listing is nice, but it's not not super exciting in and of itself. So we wanted to take it to the next level, and so we have a version of our staking technology called VIP staking. And what this is basically the ability to restrict participants in a staking pool to only those people who did something for you in advance that you wanted to incentivize them to do. The teams use this for all different things, right? One of which is raising funds. And we thought, why not do something kind of interesting with Ferrum and say, we're going to run a small VIP sale. We'll invite the community. Anyone who holds a certain amount of Ferrum in their Unifier wallet will get invited to this sale. And if they participate, and it's, by the way, it's not like we're raising a bunch of money or anything. It's like everyone's investing $1,000. It's mostly to get them into this VIP staking pool where you can earn big APYs paid out in our derivative governance token, Ferrum X. And so everything together, this raise, the VIP staking, and then the listing, we called this Operation Iron Mountain, and we did a whole marketing campaign around it, memes. Because the name was cool and it was just a lot, it was a lot of fun. We wanted to take it to the next level, and that's what Operation Iron Mountain is all about.
Yeah, but you wouldn't take it, to the next level without the memes. That's for sure.
You need the memes, and they've been incredible memes. Someone made an actual cake. They actually baked a cake, this unbelievable artistic cake of a mountain and a ship with the Ferrum flag on it. I mean, it was unbelievable. So, it's in crypto, I feel you got to engage the community. You can't just do things like everyone else is doing them. So we could have just listed on the exchange and just said, hey, we announced KuCoin. Look, would have done nicely and people would have been happy. But why not take things to the next level? Why not engage the community? And
this is exactly what I think is very special and tells easily which company is going to strive and is going to be successful and which is not. And this way I can easily tell that you guys are going to explode, with your growth within the next months. That's for sure, right? Because this sort of I call it proactivity on my end, because that's also what I'm expecting, from my team to do, right? I don't really allow anybody outside, I don't allow anybody in my team unless they who would not be proactive. And this proactivity means this, this inner sort of need to bring new solutions, to optimize, to improve, to just not this type of people that would say, okay, I'm here, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm good where I am. But I'm searching for those type of projects and those type of people always around me who say, okay, we are here, but we could be higher, right? So I want to level up. I want to take it to the next level, right? Which is exactly
you want to climb the mountain. You want to climb the Iron Mountain.
Exactly, right? Which is exactly what I have such a great, dose of respect for you personally and for Ferrum Network, as an organization, because this sets us towards the conclusion that future for Ferrum is bright, and I have not a single doubt about it. And before I let you know, before I let you go, I wanted to say, because I've already, I already kind of have a big appreciation for you taking so much time, of your time, of your plate, being in here on today's show. I definitely respect your generosity. But I'm striving to know, and people, the viewers, the listeners would also probably like to know, to learn about plans for 2021, what Ferrum Network is actually preparing for the next weeks, months, or 2021 in the longer perspective.
Yeah, so 2020 was obviously a huge year for us, but I think 2021 is going to be even bigger. We now have a much greater platform and sort of voice within the crypto community from which to sort of launch our forthcoming products and our initiatives we have coming up. So I think we're poised to do a lot of big things. But to get specific, there's a number of technologies and sort of token use cases I'm excited about. So one thing we haven't really touched on too much is the incubator / advisory services. This is a really valuable part of our ecosystem, especially in a bull market, because what it essentially does is allows the Ferrum holders, anyone who holds 50,000 or more Ferrum, the opportunity to invest in these highly vetted and really high quality up and coming projects that we help bring to market. And so we just announced the launch of Ferrum Advisory Services, which is a specific side of our business dedicated solely to this purpose. We have 2, maybe even 3 projects now in the pipeline that are really excellent and that are be launching imminently. One will probably be announced by early next week. A very, very good project that I'm really excited to bring to market. So that's one thing that we have that we've been focused on. We'll continue to focus on, and it's great for the fair investors because they get into these pre-sales that are otherwise almost impossible to get into, and they do very, very well. I mean, the last one did I think 15x, or first one did 15x, second one did 20x. I mean, so these are tremendous opportunities for Ferrum.
I gotta get in there. I gotta get in there, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
That's for sure.
it's what it does. I think from the investor standpoint is takes a little bit of the guesswork out of choosing which projects to invest in, right? Because there's so many new projects coming on online, especially during the bull market. The question is which one do you invest in? Most people don't have the time to research for hours. Most people don't have access to founders. Most people don't know really what makes a project good or not, frankly, other than what influencer might tell them or what have you. So
Yeah.
what we aim to do is not only vet these projects in the sense of getting to know the teams, making sure they're extremely serious, making sure there's a long-term vision, also short-term potentials, all these things that are very important, but also putting our full weight behind them. So giving them our marketing support, giving them our advisory support, connecting them to people like you who have a huge following, giving them the staking technology and their technology that we built. And so by doing all those things, we actually de-risk the investor because they know, look, I'm not investing it's not a rug pull. I know Ferrum's behind it. They're going to be supporting. They're going to be pushing it. They're going to be trying to make a success. Look, there's still risks. I'm not suggesting they're all guaranteed 10x or even 1x. You could lose your money, even all of your money. It's just crypto, right? Mm-hmm. But that being said, I mean, we're trying to de-risk as much as we can for the investor.
And so that's definitely appreciated. That's definitely appreciated. Again, I'm saying from my investor's point of view, that's always very appreciated to the risk itself,
yep.
Right?
That's it. I think it's really important in crypto because it is such a risky, high risk environment. Obviously, the gains can be tremendous if you get a couple right, but you can also lose a lot. So for me personally, I couldn't sleep at night knowing that our community would lose money on something. So we always give it our best to make sure these projects do well. So that's sort of on the business side. On the tech side, we're going to be developing a technology that I think really lends itself to our 2 core lines of business. So the staking and the pre-sales. We haven't quite decided on the name of this, but I'm leaning towards something called options derivative staking. And what this essentially is so it's basically a token that represents an interest that you have to future disbursements in a pre-sale or future payouts of a staking contract that you're in. So take the pre-sale for example. If you invest in a project, usually how it works is you're entitled to distributions of that project's tokens once, every, for 3 months, once a month for 3 months or 4 months, for instance. Now, what if you wanted to? What if the project does a 10x out of the gate? You get out your initial capital, but you want to get out of that project, right? You see opportunity elsewhere. You've already you already made your gains. There's currently no easy way to transfer your interest in those future disbursements, absent going through one of these like shady OTC, over the counter channels on Telegram, which you definitely want to stay away from. So we want to build using
Send me
our
Bitcoin, I send you too, right?
yeah, there's all these scams and stuff having to do with over-the-counter, pre-sales. So we obviously recommend people stay away from that. But we know because this market exists, there's demand for this kind of technology. So what if there was a way that you could, in a decentralized sort of swap, trustless environment, transfer your interest to those future disbursements? And that's what options derivatives staking seeks to do. And it can be done not just for the pre-sales, but also for your future earnings in a staking pool. Say you staked Ferrum, and you know that in 2 months from now, you're going to get $10,000 worth of Ferrum, $10,000 worth of Ferrum. But you want money, you for some reason you need money now, but the staking contract has locked you up. There's probably plenty of people who would buy that contract from you. Right? There's probably plenty of people who would buy your, and they would be the ones that would then get the staking rewards. There's currently no way to transfer your interest in those future rewards. So that's what options derivatives staking is about. I think it has a potential to change the pre-sale industry, the staking industry, creating a whole secondary market of people trading their futures interest in these things. So that I think is going to be hopefully coming out pretty soon. You just got a first scoop on it. Love to hear people's feedback on the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it could be huge. So I'm super pumped about it.
Yeah, I mean, I am. This is one of the most innovative ideas I've actually heard in quite some time. So definitely, I'm looking forward for that. I'm looking forward to that. And just the last part before I let you go. We always have this sort of like a custom, that we share, that our guests are given the chance to resonate some final thoughts for all of our viewers, listeners. So if you were to give like one tip, if you want to leave some of our viewers with the final tip for the next weeks and months, from you and from Ferrum Network, like what would that be? What would that be?
A story that resonated with me, that's been popular, going around social media and mainstream media. The guy who lost the keys to his Bitcoin. That to me is not that interesting. But what's interesting about it is this idea that the people who make the most money in crypto are the guys who lose their keys and then find them 10 years later and they're worth like $200 million. So what does that tell you? The people with the most patience are the ones who are going to make the most money in crypto. So I know you have traders on your channels. I'm not trying to disrespect traders. If you guys want to develop that skill, that's an excellent skill, and I encourage people to do it. But if you're not a trader and you're not apt to learn it, just be patient. Just be patient. We're early days in crypto. You're going to look back in 10 years, 10 years time from now, and you're probably going to wish you held on to that Bitcoin and didn't sell when it dipped from 35 to 32. You're going to wish you held on at 35 because in 10 years, where is it going to be? So patience is the name of the game in this business, and not just for Bitcoin, but investing in any early stage company that you believe in. Look at the growth of Ferrum. The people who've done the best are my friends who invested last year, don't know how to sell because they're not technical, they're not into crypto, they just have some Ferrum. Those guys have done better than almost anybody else because they didn't sell. So look, I'm not saying don't sell, look, not all coins are created equal, but look, patience is going to win in this game. You got to think long term. So that's my outro for folks. Not financial advice.
Yeah, obviously, patience is the name of the game. I love that, Ian. I think that perfectly summarizes, all of our today's podcast episode, and I truly appreciate it coming, Ian. And for all of the listeners, viewers, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel because such great interviews with, a lot of insights actually being brought for the very first time, just like I did with Ferrum. They are actually going to shed some good light for what projects are worth investing in further on. Truly appreciate your coming, Ian. That was a pleasure to host you again.
Thank you so much. Happy to come on anytime. Thanks for having me.
DeFi Click democratizes the lending market by offering both collateralized and uncollateralized loans to everyone with cross-chain interoperability through Polkadot. For more information, visit thebirbnest.com/DeFi-Click.
I'd like to thank our listeners for joining this episode of The Nest Show. If you've appreciated the depth and breadth of what you've heard with us today, subscribe to our podcast and find our landing page at thebirbnest.com. We have a vibrant Discord community which acts as our central hub of operations, and we welcome you to join us at thebirbnest.com/Discord. We also offer an extensive free bulletin on emerging crypto market trends, exclusive undervalued gem reports, and in-depth expert technical and fundamental analysis at thebirbnest.com/bulletin. We always appreciate engagement from our community, which of course means liking the video and subscribing to our page, where we insist on bringing you the highest quality content available. Also, we're happy to incorporate tips and topics from our listeners and encourage you to email us at thenestshow@thebirbnest.com. This podcast is brought to you by the Birb Nest. Thank you, and trade on.